My name is Philip Currin, known as Fast Phil. The car behind me is a 1968 Corvette that I bought in 1976. Its original paint came with a 327 engine, and I blew that up pretty quick after I bought it. So right now it's got a truck motor in it because I blew up the last race motor I had. But I've won 3 national SCCA championships in autocrossing with the car. Today, I drive it on the street occasionally. So when I was in college, I knew I wanted a Corvette. Couldn't afford a new Corvette, so I wanted to get a used 62 Corvette, and this is 1966. My buddy, who read Road and Track magazine, he said, "Phil, if you can afford it, get a 63. It's not just a different look, it's a completely different chassis." I didn't know what he was talking about, but I said, "I don't think I can afford one, but I'll try." Found a 63 split window, fuel injected red Corvette on a used car dealership. They were wholesaling it because it didn't run right. They had a lot of problem with the fuel injection back then. I bought it cheap, bought the manual from Chevrolet for $5, took the fuel injection apart. It was a loose screw. It was all mechanical, no electronic. Fixed the loose screw, and from that time on, I now had a 63 split window fuel injected Corvette, which was a badass car back then. Consequently, I improved it and put those big racing tires on it and won my first race. So that's what drew me to Corvette. And once you're into Corvette and you work on it yourself, the 68 Corvette behind me is basically the same chassis. It has disc brakes versus drum brakes, but it's the same thing, easy to work on. So you stay with what you know. For autocrossing, you're allowed to do a lot depending on what class you're in. I was in a class that allowed you to do a lot. You could change your springs, your shocks. You could change probably the design of the suspension somewhat. You could lower the car. You could put as wide a wheel and tire combination as you wanted, full race tires. You could have some aerodynamic devices. I had a big spoiler on the back, a spoiler on the front. Engine-wise was restricted. I hand-built a legal motor that was, it was 1971 and a half Corvette motor known as the LT1. Put out 370 real horsepower back then. So I won 3 championships with that, and like I said, after 8 years, it blew up. So I had 3 championships and said, that's enough, I don't want to go to the trouble of building another one. The car is still heavily modified, has a racing clutch, still has a stiff suspension lowered, so it doesn't ride well on the street. But I now have a truck motor installed in it, so it's very docile on the street. And since I no longer really race it, it doesn't matter. The jacket I happen to be wearing today, it's a 1988 National Championship jacket. I'd gone to the first autocross at the National Championships, I believe in '87. Again, this was after my road racing experience where I was kind of falling out of that, but I wanted to get back into autocrossing. So it was a new experience. I was dominating locally with autocrossing with this car, but when you go to the National Championship, now you get 30, 35 cars from all over the country that are also fast. So I ended up finishing 5th, but I took a lot of notes as to what other people were doing, did my homework, worked on the car, went back, and the day before the championship started, they gave out jackets for the people from the previous group, and I saw this jacket, and I told my brother who had gone with me, I want one of those jackets. So I had not only the normal incentive of winning, but I had the incentive I wanted this jacket. And I didn't know if I could do it because I'd been 5th the year before, but I did it. And you don't do it by a whole bunch. Usually it's by tenths of a second or thousandths of a second, and you have to wait until everybody's made their run before it's final. So it was a relief. And as you can see, I've got other national championship jackets and other road racing jackets, but I wore this one today because maybe it is my favorite.
If you like this video and want to see more, make sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video. And to see more stories like this, visit us online at classicmotorsports.com.